Welcome to the Equipped Disciple channel. My name is Rick McClatchy. I will be your host. We are here to be and to make disciples of Jesus, and we do that through daily devos, through Sunday sermons, and through other discipleship resources. We are here to equip you to be an equipped disciple. Welcome into another day of your daily devos. I'm Pastor Rick, and we are here in Genesis chapter 14, battles, kings, and a priest. What we're talking about today, we got Lot took his journey away from Abram and ended up in the arena of Sodom and Gomorrah. We already found out that they have some ill repute going on there, and looks like Lot's going to run into a little bit of trouble today. So we're going to check out what is Abram's response to the family drama, and like and comment, subscribe if you got the energy to click away. That would be super awesome. I'd really appreciate it. So we're going to just go ahead and jump right in, and here we go. In those days, verse 1 of chapter 14. In those days, there's some names, people. So ask for a little bit of grace today because we got some crazy names going on. So in those days, King Amraphel of Shinar, King Arioch of Elasar, King Chedorlaomer of Elam, and King Tidal of Goyim. Take a deep breath, everybody. Waged war against King Bera of Sodom, King Bersha of Gomorrah, King Shinab of Admah, and King Shemeber of Zeboim, as well as the king of Bela, that is Zoar. All of these came as allies to the Siddim Valley, that is the Dead Sea. They were subject to Chedorlaomer for 12 years, but in the 13th year, they rebelled. They said, "We are sick of this. We are rebelling." In the 14th year, Chedorlaomer and the kings who were with him came and defeated the Rephaim and the Ashtaroth Karnaim, the Zuzim in Ham, the Emim in Shavah-Kiriathaim, and the Horites in the mountains of Seir, as far as El Paran by the wilderness. Then they came back to invade En-Mishpat, that is Kadesh, and they defeated the whole territory of the Amalekites, as well as the Amorites who lived in Hazazon Tamar. And then the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zoar, went out and lined up in the Siddim Valley against Chedorlaomer of Elam, King Tidal of Goyim, King Amraphel of Shinar, and King Arioch of Elasar, 4 kings against 5. The battlefield is set. Now, the Siddim Valley contained many asphalt pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled. Some fell into them, but the rest fled to the mountains. So apparently they didn't read the newspaper and understand how successful these other kings were, so they set themselves up against these guys, and it did not go well. The 4 kings took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their food and went on. They also took Abram's nephew Lot and his possessions, for he was living in Sodom, and they went on. One of the survivors came and told Abram, the Hebrew, who lived near the oaks belonging to Mamre, the Amorite, the brother of Eshcol and the brother of Aner. They were bound by a treaty with Abram. So Abram's got a treaty going on with these boys. And when Abram heard that his relative had been taken prisoner, he assembled his 318 trained men born in his household, and they went in pursuit as far as Dan. So Abram had some resources at his disposal. 318 trained men born in his household. Hello. But still no kids. Like, he had no kids at all. He and his servants deployed against them by night, defeated them. He and his servants deployed against them by night and defeated them. What? And pursued them as far as Hobah to the north of Damascus. He brought back all the goods and also his relative Lot and his goods, as well as the women and the other people. After Abram returned from defeating Chedorlaomer and the kings who were with him, the king of Sodom went out to meet him in the Shavah Valley, that is the King's Valley. Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine, and he was a priest to God Most High. He blessed him and said, Abram is blessed by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who has handed over your enemies to you. So I love that, just acknowledging that God handed them over. Because when you see all the victories that they had before, and then Abram just comes in and takes care of business, like, sure, they were probably good fighters, but let's not give them too much credit, you know? This was a God-ordained victory. And Abram gave him a tenth of everything. So he actually tithed to Melchizedek. Then the king of Sodom said to Abram, give me the people, but take the possessions for yourself. But Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have raised my hand in an oath to the Lord, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, that I will not take a thread or a sandal strap or anything that belongs to you. So you can never say, I made Abram rich. I will take nothing except what the servants have eaten. But as for the share of the men who came with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, they can take their share. So, good job. We just made it through the whole chapter. Give yourself a pat on the back. So let's just think real quick about Abram, just as we try to think, just reflecting on the text and some application of what we just read. So the thoughts on Abram, man, is he ever loyal to his family, right? Like, as far as we know, Lot hasn't really stayed in touch. Like, it just so happened that somebody came and let him know that this was going on. Lot wasn't making the best of decisions, but Abram still went and took care of him, you know, like went and rescued him. And I love that loyal heart that Abram had and what he displayed towards Lot. Number two is Abram was just really wise and discerning in how to go about it. They went and attacked at night. They had some strategy. They didn't just go off, you know, like half-cocked and try to whatever. Like, no, they approached it very strategically. And also, I think he was very wise and discerning when it came to the spoils from the battle and him turning stuff down and making sure that he doesn't build up this reputation that any of them made him rich. So he wanted to show that God was the one that took care of him, and it wasn't these other people that built their wealth, that built his wealth. And he's humble because he comes before Melchizedek and he gives him a tenth, like without even any hesitation. And so just loyal, faithful, wise, and discerning and humble, like so much to learn from Abram in this chapter about how he's behaving. I just thought it was really good, really appropriate to kind of call those pieces out. Now let's talk about Lot. Basically, I would say he doesn't get a lot of play time here. He just happens to be kind of the topic because he was the one that was kind of kidnapped by the bad guys. But the fact of the matter is, choices matter. Choices matter. Who you choose to be around, where you choose to live, where you hang out. Bad company corrupts good character. It is just a reality of life. Lot did not make amazing choices when it came to who he was going to hang out with. And therefore, you can see he still had a heart towards God, but he was kind of compromised in it. So who you choose to be around can really make you or break you. So just pay attention to who you're choosing to be around. Now let's talk a little bit about Melchizedek. First priest mentioned in the Bible. No beginning and no end mentioned for this guy. His name means king of righteousness. And also he is identified as the king of Salem, which basically would be Jerusalem. But also it means peace. So he's the king of righteousness and the king of peace. Sounds a little bit like Jesus. Lots and lots and lots of people consider Melchizedek to be what's called a Christophany. It's a pre-incarnation appearance of Jesus in the Bible. And you're not going to find too many other ones that are as good as just seem pretty clear. The fact that Abram bowed down before him and also tithed to him And then when you get these verses out of Hebrews chapter 7, for this Melchizedek, the king of Salem, priest of God Most High, met Abraham and blessed him as he returned from defeating the kings. And Abraham gave him a tenth of everything. First, his name means king of righteousness, then also king of Salem, meaning king of peace, without father, mother, or genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but resembling the Son of God, he remains a priest forever. So he is at least a type. Bare minimum, Melchizedek is a type of Christ if he is not actually Jesus, so it doesn't hugely matter if you believe that Melchizedek is a pre-incarnation appearance of Jesus in the Bible. That's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But also, if you don't believe that, that's also fine. It doesn't make or break any major Christian doctrines. But it is, as you go on in Hebrews chapter 7, it talks about how the Levites, the entire priesthood, basically tithed to Melchizedek because they were still in the body of Abraham, right? Because he hadn't had his kids yet and all that kind of stuff. And so they were going to come out of his line. So he's like the father of the whole line. So when Abram at this moment tithed to Melchizedek, it was like this humbling, and then he blesses Abram, and Hebrews chapter 7 says the one that is superior is always the one that blesses, and the one that is blessed is inferior. And so just pointing out Melchizedek was far greater than Abraham, which to the audience that the book of Hebrews is written to is significant to say that Melchizedek is greater than Abraham because he's Father Abraham. He's like the bee's knees, if you will. So just kind of looking over it again, Lot's choices matter. Abram, loyal, wise and discerning and humble and faithful. And just the way that he took care of business, he took care of his family. He humbled himself before Melchizedek. He offered thanks to the Lord for the victory. He didn't try to take credit for himself. He didn't take all the spoils for himself. He protected even his own heart from the spoils of the victory by making sure that all the people that helped him, they can have what they need. And then the food that we took, let that be our payment, but I don't want anything else. And then just this beautiful picture of Melchizedek, probably a Christophany, pre-incarnation appearance of Jesus in the Bible. Pretty cool stuff. Again, just the king of righteousness and the king of peace. Maybe that's a word for you today, that Jesus, just remembering Jesus is the king of righteousness and the king of peace. And so if you need more of either of those things in your life, drawing near unto Jesus is the ticket. It's the key. He is the one that will provide you, that will grow you in righteousness and provide you with peace, because he is peace. With that, just a big hearty God bless you today. Have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.